Yeah. And I said, okay, well, there's a wild debate going on. And well, how do you say your last name? And he said, I'm like, oh, we've been saying it wrong the whole time. He's like, that's okay. It happens to everybody. Everybody says his name wrong.
Well, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Because that's actually how it's spelled in American.
Yeah. So anyway, so God bless him. He's been getting his name wrong in this for a whole time.
Huh.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
How are you? All of a sudden, I'm hot as 7 yards of hell. I don't know what's happening. It always happens at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's like the sun goes around, and I think it basically warms up. I am in this back corner, and it's farthest away from the heat, and so I think that this corner stays cold, and then this doesn't. And then I think the sun finally comes around and heats up this wall, and then all of a sudden I'm like dying. Could also be hormones, but we'll blame the heat. All right, so I'm going to bring up Shelly's comments. We're celebrating Shelly's 1-year anniversary with the company today. Yay! God bless her for sticking it out. All right. Trying to find... Okay, I have it up, and we actually read it this week. 2 minutes before the show.
That's what Shelly's celebrating.
We can be taught. We can learn. You can learn. All right. Well, Wednesday. Feels like Tuesday because
I know.
It is Tuesday.
It's just been a real...
Yeah, I said something about going to Rapid on Thursday, and Shelly's like, you mean tomorrow? I'm like, oh, I guess so. Like, I don't even know.
No, I mean Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Bailey says woohoo for Shelly, I assume. Or for our ability to learn, I'm not sure.
Well,
Bailey
would be one to approve both.
Oh, yeah, right. That's all the things. Yeah. All the things. All right, so we have awesome stuff going on right now. You want to talk about HR Summer School?
Yeah, so HR Summer School, buddy of mine, Ben Eubanks, is down in Tennessee, I'm pretty sure. And he is doing an HR Summer School. He's got all kinds of really great talent lined up to talk about different things. It's a 3-day event. He's doing it a little bit differently. So we've actually all pre-recorded our webinar, and then we join the chat on LinkedIn Live as a participant. So we're watching ourselves, presenters are watching themselves, and then people are...
You can answer questions live.
Asking questions. You can answer questions live in the chat. So.
What is your topic? Do you remember?
Balancing empathy and accountability.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yep.
One of our favorites.
Yeah. So
right.
That I'm on there. What day? Oh, it's 5 days? Okay.
You're on there June 2nd.
June 2nd at 1:10 Central Time.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Which is what time
that is.
You got this.
She's being all sassy today.
She is. You got
12:10.
Hey, good job.
Time.
This
Look
event.
how smart I am today. I'm very proud of myself.
This event is free, and so if you're interested, it's got all kinds of, it's got concepts that are HRE, and then it also has concepts that are more people-y and leadership-y and all kinds of different things. So,
sounds awesome. And you should register. It sounds like it'll be on live, but you should register because then you always get the links to the recordings and stuff.
Yeah,
so it's definitely worth getting out there and get your name on the list.
Yes.
We have an amazing new products page, which has all of the things. Do you remember any of the things we talked about yesterday that we could say right now? About products and why they should, like, what situations would be good?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, we could have a whole live just about that.
I know.
Really, for those of you who are pretty familiar with IX leadership,
our stuff.
It's basically an opportunity for you to know what we know so you can live like we live. So people say, oh, well, do you really walk the walk? Is your organization really built around these ideas that you teach other people? And the answer is yes. And we live a very amazing life.
We do have amazing
And
lives.
if I'm mad at Rachel, I just tell her. And if she is mad at me, she just tells me, or I make her tell me. I'm the one that's more
self-driven,
a little bit more. Let's just talk about it. Conflict,
resolver.
Same with Shelly. We have a rule in our office. You don't get to say sorry unless you mean it. Can't is not a word.
It's hard for us to work it with the Canadians. I'm just gonna say.
Sorry.
Sorry.
They don't even know they say it. They use it as a comma.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. And so, you've learned a lot from us in here in our lives, but this really gives you an opportunity to understand yourself. And as a start, and then you can understand your team and the people in your world as well. So it's definitely something you should check out. There's some stuff that The price ranges are anywhere from $79 up to $4,500. So there's something for everyone in there.
Yeah, and if you start small and you're like, well, I just want to put my toe in and see what it's like and check out the videos and stuff, then every time you upgrade your package to the next, to the next set of videos, the next set of training, then you get your initial investment applied against the next thing. So it actually keeps it really reasonable over time if you want to do more and more. So something to definitely check out. And it's amazing. It's super easy. It's mobile friendly. The interface, the Academy is mobile friendly. You can do it on your iPad or on the phone or on your whatever you have. What are those things called? Notebooks. Surface, whatever. Yeah. All mobile all the time. So it's super handy to actually use and watch the videos. All right. So I've got some project management training coming up. We pushed everything to August, so be sure if you're interested in project management training, check that out. I do a little segment on project management for the Women in Leadership group that's kicking off next week. Also, if you want project management and you don't want to attend a class with a bunch of strangers, reach out. We do a lot of training one-on-one with individuals and companies, so it's possible that if you feel like you really need some project management to help get your hands around whatever you're dealing with right now, reach out. We do it individually and as small groups too, so you don't have to wait till the class comes if you really are needing help right now.
If you're new to the group, don't forget to connect with us on LinkedIn and catch up on the past lives because we say funny and useful funny things.
On our YouTube channel, because Shelly literally strips these out every week and dumps everything we do into our YouTube channel, so you can just get hours of entertainment.
Oh, you're all
right
so
from
lucky.
the YouTube channel. Seriously. All right. Weekly quote. We see organizer leaders operating in leadership roles that require precision, critique, and specialization. So always love having a plan. They are specialists in what they do, and they always are really great in those roles. We see a lot of organizers leading financial services and legal services and actually independent consultants. I know several organizers who are independent consultants. So.
Yeah.
We love organizers. And so, good weekly writing prompt. Who do you find inspiring right now and why?
Yes.
Well,
who? Tell us.
The astronauts just launched for the first time from America in 10 years this morning. So I'm super inspired by that. I think that two very veteran test pilots are basically test flying this new space shuttle. It's not a shuttle, it's spacecraft. It is super exciting.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited. They took off from Kennedy Space Flight Center this morning.
Cool.
Awesome. How about you? Let me put you on the spot. Your favorite thing. Who's inspiring you right now?
Who is inspiring me right now? I have to say, I just think John Krasinski, the Some Good News. I just think I know, maybe that's a banjo that's been played a time too many, but it just really,
never too much.
The guy in the middle of all this crap was like, yeah, you know what? There are good things we can celebrate, and I think that's pretty awesome. He sold that.
I know.
Did you see that?
I did. Yeah, some people are really pissed.
Yeah, I'm maybe not so happy about that part of it. I was kind of like, oh.
Well, I think if he keeps the soul of the show, but he's not going to be doing it. He's not going to be hosting.
That's why it's not as fun.
I think he was done, and he at least is living on.
Yeah, that's true. He probably was like, oh, you want me to keep doing this?
Yeah. I don't think he wanted to do more.
Who do you think will do it?
I don't know. That's going to be a make or break decision. If I pick somebody great, it will continue on. But if they pick someone that sucks, they'll destroy it.
Yeah, I'm to mimic his sort of a little bit sarcastic but jovial attitude is going to be
someone who's up all the time, as he always was on the show.
Yeah,
and funny and
yeah.
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Good luck, CBS.
Maybe they should pick us.
Maybe they should pick us.
CBS. Give us a call.
We would be great at Some Good News.
We would be great at Some Good News.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to do the New Zealand story?
Yeah.
So our business topic segment.
Yes. New Zealand's Prime Minister threw out a little bit of an idea about sort of having a guideline or a guideline for businesses that a 4-day work week would be acceptable as
kind of a default, I think is how they said it.
okay.
A default position.
Because some businesses are having people come back to work full time 5 days a week, some not so much. Some people within an organization are doing it, some are not. Which this is as a result of COVID, but as we all know, and for especially for those of you who are in any kind of a leadership role and or HR and a leadership role, this is an age-old, well, not really age-old, in the last 20 years, kind of a debate about, how many days a week should we really work. So the Prime Minister said, well, gosh, what if we just said 4 days a week is a default? You want to work 5? Fine. You want to work 4? Fine. So, see, oh, hello, there's
Something
somebody
exciting going on
somebody
outside.
honking outside. So I don't know. I actually worked in an organization where we worked 4 days a week and I loved it. It actually felt like there was more, I could get more done at work in 4 days because I had 3 days to get things done at home and in my life. And so I could really focus on the things I needed to do at work. And it's really nice to have a weekday off.
Yes, yeah.
Because
Although if
then-
everyone has a weekday off.
Well, I did notice that. So when I started, this is when I worked at the gold mine. And when I started in 2012, it wasn't quite so popular. But about halfway through my time there, it got more popular. So I couldn't go get my hair. Like if I had Mondays off, especially. But even on Fridays.
Didn't Belle go to 4-day weeks though?
Belle went to a
school.
4-day school week.
Yeah, so I bet that's what really changed things. 'Cause then parents.
Well, it was already a 4-day school week when I was the whole time.
But interesting.
But yeah, I mean, it had like the dentist, the things you want to get done.
Friday off.
Yeah. So anyway, if everybody does it, it's not really quite so handy.
We all have worked for 410s at some job or other, and we all liked it. So I think it makes a lot of sense. I always think now that I've worked for myself, and then I think, how do people that have to be at work from 8 to 5 every day, how do they get their hair done and their nails done? And they must be exhausted because they have to pack all that in around. I go at 2 and go get my nails done. It's no big deal. So I just think, what a gift. I mean, and most people probably still work 8+ hours a day. We probably creep out. I mean, between our phones and all the other things, we probably are already pushing 10 hours of work a day. So it's probably just kind of getting a free day. So when I worked 410s, I was doing manufacturing, and I don't think I could have. I did work physically another night, Friday once in a while, because the pay was so good. But man, I needed the 3 days. After that was hard work, but I love that idea. This 3-day weekend we had with Monday off, it was amazing. I got so much stuff done, and I actually felt relaxed. I didn't touch my laptop once all weekend. It was great.
Every weekend actually feels like a little mini vacation.
Yeah,
it's pretty wonderful.
That is pretty awesome.
A 3-day work week.
If you guys have done alternate schedules, we'd love to hear about if you like them or not, or if you would like it, because frankly, it might be that some people prefer the less hours and more days. Depends on your life situation, I imagine.
It's true.
All right, what else we got? Q&A questions.
Yeah, all right. I thought I had my imposter syndrome under control. For those of you who don't know, imposter syndrome is feeling like you're not enough in whatever ways. Good enough for your job, good enough in your life, or also who should believe you? How could you possibly be an expert?
Or someone's gonna find you out at any moment that you really aren't as good as you think you are.
That's right. Okay, so I thought I had my imposter syndrome under control. Then COVID-19 hit. I'm finding that it is now worse than ever. Any tips to get it under control again?
Interesting.
What do you think?
Well, I had my worst imposter syndrome thing happen, and then I survived it, so then I don't feel so bad anymore. But I had one of my old colleagues call me up and say that I was claiming to be someone I wasn't at work. And a guy named Jim, he's like, well, I'm glad you claimed that you're doing Jim's job. And I didn't even know what he was talking about. And it turns out somebody that had interviewed me had put me down, had got my name, my title, and who I work for wrong. And so it looked like if I was claiming to be that person. And so I emailed Jim immediately and I said, Jim, I hope you know that I would never do this intentionally. I've already asked them to fix it. And he's like, oh, well, that stuff's wrong 50% of the time. They always get that stuff wrong. I would never think you'd do that. I'm like, oh, thank God. Oh my God. It was the worst. It's like a super panic attack. So it has actually happened to me, and it is as terrible as you think it might be. But you do survive it. So I don't know. What do you think advice would be?
I would say, if you thought you had your imposter syndrome under control, what did you do before to get it under control? A lot of times we try and fix a problem that's right in front of us as a brand new problem, but it's not brand new. We've probably dealt with it before, maybe a different shade of the same color, but chances are you've dealt with it before. So what did you do before to get through it? One thing that helps me is just to remember that everything is sort of a season within my life. So, yes, you might have imposter syndrome right now because of COVID, but eventually things are going to shake out. However they're going to shake out, we don't know, but they're going to shake out, and then you'll feel a little bit less like you have imposter syndrome. And I think, the sort of age-old basic coaching tips of write stuff on your bathroom mirror about how cool you are with a erasable marker and look yourself in the eyes every day.
People's and I'm good enough, and I'm smart enough.
Good enough,
and gosh darn it, people like me.
And gosh darn it, people like me. That's not one of mine.
But she doesn't care. But, and honestly, what's going on is the uncertainty of the situation at large is creating like this anxiety level with everybody. Some are bigger and some are smaller, and then we all of our normal stuff gets laid on top of that. And so then it's like everything is a little bit more stressful and everything's a little bit less figured out. And so it is just a temporary situation. If you're thinking about starting a new job or switching careers or asking for a raise or something, then the imposter syndrome might be like super overwhelming. And then you might have to do a lot more like intentional, write down 100 amazing things you've done in your life. I love this exercise. And it is like, you're like, oh, I haven't done 100 amazing things. And then you start writing them down and you're like, oh yeah, I potty trained or potty trained 7 dogs in my life. It's like, oh my God, what is that called? Is that potty train?
Potty training, yeah.
Yeah, potty training. Like 7 dogs, housebreaking. Yeah. 7 dogs in my whole life. And you're like, that is superhero power to me. So if you literally like write down all the amazing things you've done, make it 100, I bet you'd be surprised at how good you actually are at what the thing is that you think that you suck at, or you're afraid people will find out you suck at.
Yeah.
So
I would say too, a lot of times imposter syndrome happens, if you sort of like, oh, I got this under control, I think I'm awesome, and then the next thing you know, you're like, oh my God, I'm not awesome. Broken. I'm not awesome, and people found out. Think about other people's perspectives and write down why they have that perspective from what you assume is their perspective, not yours. Because a lot of times imposter...
Like what? Give me an example. I do not understand what you're saying.
So like a lot of times imposter syndrome is just in your own head, right? Like if I came into work and thought, oh my gosh, Rachel probably doesn't think I'm that cool anymore because my kids are at home and I've been there more, and she probably thinks, God, I'm not doing much or not contributing or whatever. Right. But then if if I'm basing that on some behavior of Rachel's, I could sit down and think, well, okay, how do I know Rachel knows I'm awesome? And why do I know that that's true? And in what ways have I been contributing? And what is her perspective? And of course, if you have the opportunity to ask and
I was
the
gonna say,
courage
you just ask me
to ask, yeah. Then
do you think I suck?
Yeah.
I'd say, no,
so I think if
you
write down the perspective of the other person who you think is gonna find you out, then it gives you a little bit, you're like, because usually when you ask somebody, they're like, no, I just think, holy shit, I'm so glad I'm not in your shoes or whatever, so.
Right. I think the other thing that's important is to also think about you from where she's reading your note, Danielle. That's why she looks that way.
Yeah.
Just give her a minute and she'll look normal again. Okay.
Which isn't much better. So
yes.
There's that.
So yeah, the other thing is to remember that kind of along those lines, that you are harder on yourself than anyone will be harder on you. So when you say things like, oh, Rachel must think I suck because I did this, this, and that, would I ever say that? Of course not. So don't put words in other people's mouths just because you are uncertain or you're not, or you're feeling insecure. If you really asked me, well, what do you think? What do you think about this? What if I position it this way? I would say, like, I think that's awesome. Like, you're a rock star. Totally do it. So just don't pretend that you know what someone else is going to say, because they would never say that. Be as kind to yourself as other people are.
Yes, do that. And Danielle's saying if you're
Danielle.
being true to yourself and authentic, then, you have a lot less, there's a lot less opportunity creeps into your mind about feeling like you're an imposter. And so.
Oh, that is a very optimistic idea. Most people are like hugely, deeply insecure, especially when they're their most authentic selves.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We love you because, Danielle, we love you because you're very confident and you're amazing.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Resume. Do we want to talk about Zoom interviews, or do we want to? What time is it? 2:21. Let's do Zoom interviews.
Okay.
Because you're an interview. You should give some general interview tips anyway.
Okay, so question is, I have my first virtual interview next week. Zoom calls are pretty new to me. Any tips to ace it? Well, I think some basic stuff still applies. Don't look like an idiot, like frumpy and gross. Like dress nicely.
Yes, like you're actually going in for the interview.
Yeah,
sure.
and I would say even though nobody can see your bottom half, like if you have dress slacks, put them on, or if you have like a skirt suit or whatever you're gonna wear, whatever you would actually normally wear in person, even down to your
slippers.
shoes.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, because like when we've recorded videos and done stuff in the past, we'll put on whatever real shoes we would normally wear, even if we're just in the office by ourselves recording video, because it changes your posture, it changes your attitude about who you are. So I would say, first tip, put on the clothes you would normally put on for an interview. Unless you would look like a slob, then put on better clothes and research what that looks like. There's all kinds of information out there about what you should look like in an interview. I will say, I have interviewed people who were in a suit and tie to interview for a position to be a haul truck driver, and I was like, hey, good for you. You're better dressed than I am. So it never hurts to dress up. Not dress up, but like dress up, look.
Not cosplay, dress up.
Yeah,
like.
not like Darth Vader, because that would be weird.
That'd be fun. Maybe that blue lady in the mutant movies, whatever.
Oh yeah, that woman, whatever she is. Isn't she a fish thing?
I don't know, lizard.
Reptilian?
I don't know.
Well,
she's something.
Anyway, you could
A
do
lot
your
of
makeup
blue-
like that.
Blue body paint.
A lot of blue body paint. Good luck.
Well, kind of Zoom tips are good lighting, which we don't have our light on today, but today is just that.
Do
kind
as
of
I
day.
say.
That's right. We usually are blinded by our light though.
Yeah.
Like you can get a ring light for $20 on Amazon. Get a good microphone so you're not yelling at because you've seen these where people are like this close to their shit and you're like, get back. So be able to have a microphone, sit back from the front, sit back from your screen, have water. What else? What other Zoom tips are good for Zoom? Know the tech.
Yeah, practice
Have other
using
people practice with you until up to your interview and all that stuff.
And I would say, if maybe you are a Zoomer, but you don't know anything about Microsoft Teams, a lot of bigger organizations use Microsoft Teams.
So ask what platform they'll be using for your interview.
Yeah, and then figure out how to use it, because they are not, they're not, it is what it is, but they're not exactly the same. So it's important to actually know the system. Because then not only are you probably going to be nervous and too close to the screen, you're also trying to figure out where they're like,
heavy breathing.
If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat box, and and then they ask you a question right at the same time. Sometimes interviews are like being at the dentist.
Oh yeah, how's that?
Because
painful.
like when the dentist like asks you a question and then jams something in your mouth, and they're like, "Hey, what do you think about this? Oh, hey, what do you think about this other thing?" And then they're not impressed with how you've done in your interview, and you're like,
well, and frankly, the other thing to keep in mind is if you're interviewing now, it might be for a remote work job, which means that you better know how to handle your tech, because if you can't handle your tech, they're not going to hire you. So. All right. So do we need to do something? Oh, you did it.
For whatever reason, your Gmail just
timed
decided
out
to
exactly right now.
log out of itself.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Some good news. Our favorite part of the day. We love it. We love especially our sign.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Something interesting. We were just debating actually whether or not it was good news, but John Krasinski sold the rights to the Some Good News show. I don't know if I'm saying all those words right. I don't know if he sold them or whatever the heck happened. But anyway,
They bought the rights to.
CBS bought the rights to that, and so the good news in that silver lining is that it will continue. Even beyond when John Krasinski is sick of doing a news show in his own.
And then I'm sure they'll spin the globe the right way. That was the big news back then. Spin the globe the correct way. Sorry.
Danielle's tip for Zoom calls: wipe off your camera so you're not fuzzy. That is a good one.
I don't know what you're doing with your camera during. I'm just gonna say.
The dog licked it right before. Yeah.
That's right. All right. Was the SpaceX launch scrubbed? Shelley, I thought you said the SpaceX launch went. No?
Oh, it looked like they were in a space thing.
Yeah,
I was watching on this.
Yeah, they probably Chicky's saying they scrubbed it. Well, the weather was only like 40%, so I'm still inspired by them, even if they're going tomorrow. All right, so some good news. Oh, my favorite good news at the moment. The rhubarb is up around here. So we've got, Shelley was snapping me pictures of all kinds of rhubarb desserts all weekend. And my mother-in-law made some amazing rhubarb crisp. And I just, a friend of mine posted the 55 ways to use rhubarb, which are all desserts, of course.
That's what you use it for.
So that is, rhubarb grows in abundance around here. So that's kind of our first fruit of the first real harvestable thing of the year. That and asparagus. Which also grows around here in some places.
Yep.
Does it grow around here? Well, I knew it grows where I grew up, but I don't know if it grew up.
Yeah, it grows East River. It grows more abundantly, but here it grows in spots pretty abundantly, like down along the rivers, in river bottoms.
It likes wetness,
stuff.
that's for sure. It used to East River, where we only get about 24 inches of rain a year. It would actually grow underneath fence wires because the water would condense and drip. Huh? Yeah. Yep.
Ah, interesting.
So, it was like fiendishly guarded, the asparagus. Oh. A lot of times there was legendary arguments because the post office guy, the mail delivery, he would keep his eye out for all the asparagus as it was maturing, and then he would harvest it as he went. But of course, all the people that lived there were also doing that, and sometimes, it's a big deal. Big deal. I mean, we're nice people here. I'm sure it was, a lot of very repressed passive-aggressive behavior.
So, Ron, did you have some asparagus last night? I could smell steak coming from your grill.
That's right. How's your pea smelling today, Ron? Chicky says the next window launch is Saturday. So, fingers crossed on the... they have to start the countdown stuff over, so it always takes a few days. All right, so that's the fun news around here. I had another little list. I don't know where it went.
Oh. Well, the other cool news while you look for the list is Helix is launching next month. So our web portal to host our culture type assessment is called Helix, and that is launching next month, and we are a bad word that starts with F, excited.
We are effing excited.
Effing excited.
Sure. And stinking excited. I use that sometimes to get around.
Stinking
excited about it. And we're just finalizing the brand, the logo. And so that's been really fun.
Yes.
So that's going on, and that will help us allow people from afar to actually work with either clients or their own companies to continually update their culture type assessments, do ad hoc team building, all kinds of cool stuff. Identify team issues. Oh man, it's going to be just delightful. Nice. Everyone's going to have their scatter plot. Everyone gets a login. It's going to be cool. I'm really excited about it.
Yep.
And one personal piece of good news is that my daughter got a Rising Star Award from 6th grade. It's for the entire year, the entire 6th grade. They give like 5 of them or something.
Nice.
And Alex got one this year for the 6th grade. She was and normally she would have got it in front of all the giant all-school assembly. She would have got to go down and get her Star Award. But it's okay. It's still exciting, and we're still happy for her. So
The girls were 1, 2, 3 in a row because
Were
Joby
they?
got a pillar award.
Oh, yeah, a pillar award. That's
so
right.
She got a pillar award, and then the next month Peyton got
did,
a pillar
and
award.
now Alex got one.
Our kids are awesome.
You know, before you think they're really geniuses, Alex reminded me earlier today that back when the house was being built, Peyton, Joby, and her played in the insulation. Do you remember that story?
No, I feel a little irresponsible right now.
Yeah.
At my house?
No, at my house. Here. You came over. I guess we were just friends then. I wasn't sure it was Peyton and Joby.
No.
It wasn't Peyton and Joby. It was somebody else.
I was never here until after your house was all
I didn't
complete.
I didn't think so. Okay, never mind. I thought it was going to be a funny story, but I think it was actually the twins. I think it was my nieces. But anyway,
Oh, wow.
Alex remembers it being Joby and Peyton. Yeah, so they had put in loose fill fiberglass insulation above the garage, and she was giving a tour to whoever her little friends were, and they saw it and it looked fun, and so they jumped into it and like rolled around.
Oh, yeah, no. I think I don't have much for a memory, but I think I would have remembered that.
So I have a giant.
This does sound like something we would have
I have a
done.
giant soaker tub, and the very first thing we did with it was stick 3 naked little girls in there and like get all the fiberglass out of them, out of their skins and their hair. Luckily, we just, they weren't in there long enough, but they kept all their clothes on, so we could get rid of most of it. But
Well,
anyway,
there you go.
See, it did make sense that it could have been Peyton and Joby. So I thought that's weird. Meg wasn't with the company though, and you weren't working together then.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah, well,
it was a funny story. Anyway. So kind of thought it made me go like, Mom of the Year award kind of moment.
yeah. Well, we gotta get a few of those a day.
That's right.
Okay. Well,
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. We hope you have a fantastic day. Someone asked me, I sent an email the other day and I said, well, if you need relentless optimism, call me anytime. So this is our home of relentless optimism. So come on by whenever you want.
yes. We'll feed you beer and relentless optimism.
That's right. Everyone needs some of that.
That's right. All right. Lead powerfully.
Change the world. Talk to you soon, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, I can't get the thingy.